last video, we talked about getting pre-approved and what your lender would be doing and what a buyer would be looking at and what a seller would be looking at. In this video, we're going to talk a little bit more about the process because now we are in escrow. My name's Thesa Chambers, and I will be your host for this with the help of Brett. Brett Hartlob is with Prime Lending, and he has given us a lot of snippets of what to expect as a buyer. And sellers, that also includes you. If you understand this process, your transaction will go smoother because you'll have the knowledge to ask the right questions and know whether those answers make sense or not.
Hello, Brett Hartlob here, Senior Loan Officer from Prime Lending in Bend, Oregon, doing a series of videos with Thesa.
So, we found the right house. We've written an offer. We've come to mutual agreement. One of the two agents is going to open escrow. Escrow is a neutral third party. They kind of work on behalf of everybody. They're the ones that collect documents. They collect the money. They make sure that the contract is followed to a T. So you'll hear the word escrow quite often in a real estate transaction. But in all honesty, they're just that third party that everybody has to submit their stuff to so that we can make sure all the T's are crossed and I's are dotted. Okay. So, the buyer during the escrow period, when we first open escrow, is going to have a home inspection. A home inspection period is typically 10 to 15 business days, depending on the market and how busy home inspectors are and the seller and buyers' personal schedules. During that process, Brett is also going to be doing things behind the scenes. Here's a little bit about what he's going to be doing.
Congratulations, Thesa has found you a perfect house, and you guys negotiated the perfect price, and you're now under contract. We've got between 30 and 40 days to get this thing closed. This is called the escrow process. So we already have you, the client, the credit already pre-approved. Now we have to work on collateral pre-approvement. Thesa's going to order the inspection. We're going to get a copy of that title report, and I'm going to order a copy of and I'm going to get the property appraised. Appraised assigns value, while Thesa's inspection, through her inspector, looks for defaults. Together, all those, we're going to evaluate the house.
So now we've made it through our home inspection. And during that period, we will have looked at the report. We'll have negotiated any repairs. We will let escrow know and your lender know of any adjustments in pricing or sellers paid closing costs or anything of that sort, because that can affect things at the end of the day. So the minute those things transpire, it's best to let them know. As we've been going through that part of the process, your lender has been submitting your file to underwriting. Brett, why don't you tell us a little bit about what underwriting is?
All right, the full credit, you, and collateral, the house, package is now in with the underwriter. It takes a few days, usually up to a week, and it's the underwriter's job to cross the T's and dot the I's. Make sure that everything that we've done, all the calculations are correct, and they issue the final approval on the loan. That's always a good day. He or she is a third-party person that works for Prime Lending that it basically evaluates a final set of eyes on all of the things to make sure that all is okay, including you guys from the credit standpoint and the property from the collateral standpoint.
So Brett submitted your file, and we've cleared the home inspection. Brett's also ordered your appraisal, and your appraiser will be going to the home, and they will be walking through. They'll check a few things here or there. They generally check the square footage. They kind of look around. They're only there like 5-10 minutes. However, that's not their whole job. They will also be going back to their office and scrutinizing this property against other sold properties. Not properties that are on the market, but ones that have actually closed escrow and changed hands. Because what a property sells for is a whole lot more important than what it's listed for. So once that appraisal is completed, it will be uploaded to the lender, and the lender will then resubmit to underwriting for our final approval.
Okay, we are clear to close. We have satisfied all of the underwriter's conditions and we are ordering the loan docs. Hallelujah, this is a great day. We ordered the loan docs to go over to the escrow and title company, in which once they receive them, they'll balance with us, the bank, for the exact amount of money that's needed to close. Up until this, we've given you really accurate estimates, but honestly, they're within a couple tens or hundreds of dollars. They're close. But now we got everything in, dialed down to the day. The documents are at escrow and we're going to set up our signing appointment.
So once Brett had that clear to close, now we get to go to closing. Your loan docs will come to the title company, and we will not know how much cash you need to bring. And when I say cash, I don't mean you bring $100 bills. I mean, we call it cash to close. It's usually a cashier's check or a wire transfer. You want what we call certified funds. A personal check's not going to work. However, we'll worry about that on another day. But once we get the approval of your loan and we work through all those numbers, then we can tell you what your cash to close is. We really can't give you the exact number until we have those documents. Things are always subject to change a little. Brett will be able to give you a little bit of an idea ahead of time. He could be $10, $20 off, or he could be a couple $100 off. Generally not more than that, though. Once those documents have been received at escrow, things will go very quickly. I call it the quiet period between the home inspection and the loan docs, because the buyer and the seller oftentimes are like, what's happening? Everything's so quiet. Everything was a flurry in the beginning, and then you have nothing to do except keep your pay stubs updated, keep your bank statements updated. The seller, they've done some repairs, and then now they're just packing. Nobody really hears a whole lot of anything other than we're still moving forward. But once those loan docs come in, literally, I've had people have to go sign that day or the next day. So we will be in very quick and fast communication with your lender and your escrow officer to facilitate that. Now, in days of COVID like we're having right now, oftentimes it's just you and the escrow officer for signing. I like to attend my signings, but they kind of encourage us not to have any extra people there if possible. So I'm usually just a phone call away. I try to leave that time scheduled so that I am available to you. Now, in Oregon, most of the time you will sign your loan documents and your closing documents, but you won't truly close escrow till the next day. There are exceptions to that rule, and we call that same-day funding. But in general, you will sign and deliver your money to escrow on like a Monday, and the house will be yours on Tuesday. So that kind of wraps up the escrow period in a nutshell. I hope Brett and I have been able to help you understand a little bit more about what happens during that period. If you like this video and you learned something from it, well, even if you didn't, if you could hit that subscribe button, I'd sure appreciate it. Have a great day.